Federal government doing some fuckery.
Winning? No.
They're back on the Capitol riot shit.
You
They've been
suck!
voting for commission to investigate and do things for that. And it seems 35 Republicans have decided to join the Democrats in support of that.
You
And I
suck!
mean, I don't trust the government to investigate itself, but I would really like to know what happened there because there was that Antifa guy that was pictures of him dressed as a Trump supporter. There was cops letting him in. That Ashley Babbitt guy's identity hasn't been revealed. He hasn't been investigated. And there's all kinds of fuckery around the Capitol 6 riot. So I kind of actually want a commission. But let's get into this article. All right, so 35 Republicans back Trump study of January 6th Capitol Buck Trump back study of January 6th Capitol riot. All right, so Washington, 35 House Republicans joined Democrats Wednesday in voting to create a bipartisan commission to investigate the January 6th attack on the Capitol, risking the wrath of former President Donald Trump and flouting GOP leaders who condemned the proposal as unfairly partisan and unneeded. I don't know why that risks the wrath of Donald Trump when Donald Trump didn't support that shit. But anyway, ABC has to get the Trump in there to get the viewings, the Trump derangement syndrome. Republican mavericks were led by New York Rep. John Cato, who wrote the measure with Homeland Security Committee Chairman Benny Thompson, Democrat Mississippi Katoka. That panel's top Republican was battling two tides that have overwhelmed Congress in recent years: the nearly overwhelming potency Trump still has among Republicans, and a jagged edge participationship that often confounds even mundane legislation. I encourage all members, Republicans and Democrats alike, to put down their swords for once, just for once, and support this bill, Katko said before the House approved this measure. The 35 defectors represented a relatively modest but significant slice of House Republicans, of whom 175 opposed the legislation. The defiance underscored the party's rift as some lawyers supported an investigation of the shocking and violent Capitol attack, while leaders tried to avoid enraging the former president. The former president has nothing to do with the Capitol attack, you stupid fucking idiots.
You
Whose
suck!
support they believe they'll need in the House control of the 2022 elections. All 10 Republicans who voted in January to impeach Trump for encouraging his supporters to storm the Capitol supported the commission. Most of the 35 Republicans backing the commission were moderates. The 10 who backed impeachment, including Katko and Rep. Liz Cheney, Wyoming, Trump's most prominent House GOP critic. She did not speak during Wednesday's debate, but after that she tweeted a message urging the Senate to approve the commission, saying some things must be above politics. The vote came to a week after her colleague dumped her from a Republican leadership position for repeatedly criticizing Trump for his role in the attack and his false claims and the loss of the election because of widespread voter fraud. I find it fucking ridiculous that these people are doing this shit in the name of angering or not angering Trump, and Trump doesn't give a fuck about any of it.
Winning? No.
Opposing the commission was Representative Greg Pence, Republican Indiana. His brother, former Vice President Mike Pence, was in the Capitol during the attack and was hustled to safety by security officers, even as some in the pro-Trump mob were heard shouting, "Hang Mike Pence." Trump had turned on his vice president for not derailing Congress counting of the votes, which Pence did not have the constitutional power. Stop saying that this was Trump. This is fucking pissing me. Look at this fucking framing. Trump had nothing to do with that. He was in having a fucking speech telling his fucking people not to be violent when this fucking happened. This was not him. I don't even fucking, I don't like the fucking, I don't like him. I don't like Biden. I don't like the whole fucking system.
That's how winning is done!
But this is reality. A moderate and former prosecutor, Katko, defended the proposed commission as a fair and needed step forward, understanding the riot, how it happened, and what security improvements the Capitol needs to prevent a future assault. This is about fact. It's not about partisan politics, he said pointedly. Pointedly. Yeah, you might want to make that I better. Two other Republicans spoke in favor of the legislation. Fred Upton and Peter Major of Michigan. The two had also voted to impeach Trump. January 6th is going to haunt the institution for a long time, said Upton. He said that if not for resistance by the Capitol Police, who knows how many heads would have been swinging on those gallows that members of the mob erected outside the building. Major, a freshman, took what seemed veiled shots of Trump House Monitor leader Kevin McCarthy, Republican California, and some of his colleagues. Well, if you didn't fucking fuck with the Constitution and shit like that and actually fucking listen to your constituency and put America first, they might have not have stormed the Capitol and constructed fucking gallows. I'm just fucking saying.
Winning? No.
You suck!
Without mentioning names, Mudger said the attack occurred with the encouragement of prominent elected officials, he said, some whom initially criticized the attack have walked back their words or softened their speech, Mudger added. More troubling, there has been an active effort to whitewash and rewrite the shameful events of the day to avoid accountability. If you call it whitewash, I already think you're a leftist shitbag.
Winning? No.
And you're not a Republican anyway.
You
Days
suck!
after the Capitol attack, McCarthy said Trump bears responsibility for the rioters' assault, which he does not. He fucking told people to be peaceful. But he opposed impeachment, eased his criticisms of Trump, and opposed creation of the commission. Other Republicans have downplayed the attack, with one comparing the rioters to tourists, and Trump has opposed the commission, calling it a Democratic trap. It is a Democratic trap. McCarthy did not speak during debate on the bill. Other Republicans backing the commission, including Reps Adam Kinzinger of Illinois, impeachment support the long-term Trump critic, and Stephanie Bice, president of the House Freshman, who's representative in competitive districts that include Oklahoma City. They're going to try and use this fucking commission as an excuse to boot out Republicans and take more power.
Winning? No.
As voting for the commission were 9 of the nearly 24 Republicans whom Democrats considered prime targets to oust in the next year's elections. Their numbers included a pair of freshmen from South Florida and Cotco, a fourth-term Syracuse area lawmaker who has survived the close races before. The Democrat-run House approved the measure 252 to 175 and sent it to the Senate, where Democrats face an uphill fight to garner at least 10 Republican yes votes. They will need to prevail. The measure would create a 10-member commission with 5 members appointed by each party to investigate the Capitol riot. And ABC, your framing is a fucking mess, and that is the wrong screen. Let's get back there. ABC, your framing is a motherfucking mess.
You suck!
Trump had nothing to do with that shit. This is just a Democratic ploy to fucking oust certain Republicans so they can fucking take power. And it's disgusting. It's the Republicans aren't blameless in the fucking problems in this country, but this democratic institution is the most totalitarian fascist regime in American history, and it needs to be removed from office immediately. I'm just fucking saying. Alright, moving on to the fucking fourth and final thing we're going to talk about today. It's from Bloomberg. Apparently there's a push for America to fucking vaccinate the world. The world is not America's fucking problems. France can vaccinate itself. England can vaccinate itself. Israel can vaccinate itself. Palestine can vaccinate itself. Russia can vaccinate itself. You see what I'm saying? You could vaccinate yourself, fucking people. It's not America's responsibility to keep you safe. It's not America's responsibility to fucking give you money and take care of your fucking healthcare, your defense, and whatnot. You need to step the fuck up to the plate. You man the fuck up and take care of it your goddamn self. But let's get into this fucking article right here. So we get the world must do more to vaccinate. The U.S. must do more to vaccinate the world after successful roll at home. The Biden administration needs to drive a similarly ambitious effort abroad. No, we do not. We need to focus on American fucking problems.
That's how winning is done.
The Biden administration's decision to begin sharing U.S. authorized COVID-19 vaccines with the rest of the world is welcome news. Now, coronavirus czar Jeff Sessions, who will lead U.S. efforts to fight the pandemic abroad, must swiftly create a global vaccine strategy that's focused, ambitious, and effective as the one that's worked so well domestically, even though it really hasn't. Those who have asked whether the U.S. ought to assume the burden should remember 2 things. No, we should not.
That's how winning is done.
First, progress at home will count for less if the pandemic rages unchecked abroad. Americans might be vulnerable to new variants. Trillions in output will be lost if trade and travel continue to be disrupted. And as the global death toll mounts, instability and resentment of the U.S. and other rich countries will grow. I don't give a fuck. It's not my fucking problem. The U.S. is uniquely qualified to lead the effort. It could soon have hundreds of millions of excess vaccine doses. It has more influence with several of the key vaccine developers and most diplomatic clout. Having worked on the ground for years to combat HIV and AIDS, which we didn't do a good job on, tuberculosis, which we didn't do good, and malaria, which we don't have a good hold on. It has expertise and long-standing relationships with public health officials and developing nations. More recently, it began to learn how to cope with the vaccine hesitancy and misinformation. Actually, fucking tuberculosis is becoming fucking antibiotic resistant, so we're not having real success on that. But anyway, success, however, will require more than the administration's covenant piecemeal efforts. Its recent pledge to share 20 million Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson doses by the end of June, in addition to 60 million AstraZeneca shots once they've cleared by regulators, will meet only a very small fraction of global need. The U.S. decision to support patent waiver for COVID-19 vaccines will do little exception fuel months of debate among trade officials. As effective strategy near the clear international schedule for sharing hundreds of millions of more doses before the end of the year, many should be donated to COVAX, the global facility for delivering vaccines to poor nations, which is short of supplies. See, that's different. If you're going to donate help to a charity organization that's already dedicated to doing that, that's motherfucking different than the American just fucking footing the bill to fucking help people. Other doses could be earmarked for specific countries based on stated criteria, caseloads, fatality rates, distribution capacity, and most importantly, commitment to providing vaccinations to the highest need groups, such as healthcare workers and people over age 60. The U.S. should help to get those shots in arms. It should work with fellow G7 nations to fund efforts by the World Health Organization to improve delivery capacities in poor nations, and American officials can help countries more directly. We know we need to stop with the WHO and the UN. Those people fucking suck. They're sucking Chinese cock by advertising on logistics, distribution, and training a health worker, and by fighting vaccine misinformation. Finally, the U.S. needs to rally its partners behind a massive effort to scale up global vaccine production. The U.S. should expand manufacturing capacity at home, in part by addressing shortages of critical inputs such as bioreactor bags and filters, and encourage companies to license their technology to new partners abroad. Speed is essential. The G7 countries should work together to step up and sustain supply chains, train staff, inspect facilities, and pay more doses. We have fucking supply shortages. We need to unfuck our own fucking problems. Take care of your own goddamn vaccines. In the longer run, the U.S. should press for new regional networks for vaccine production, especially for the potent mRNA vaccines that are likely to be the most valuable in future pandemics. After 1945, open-handed help for capacity building in countries in desperate need earned the U.S. decades of goodwill and geopolitical influence. The global pandemic demands the same kind of ambition. I just really don't fucking think we should be fucking sending money abroad when we're having hyperinflation issues, gas shortage issues, fucking people are not working, and more supply things are going to be off the shelf. We're having all these goddamn problems at our border. We have a shitty government that's fighting each other instead of fucking working for the American people. We can't afford to be fucking focusing on other people's goddamn mess. People in England should vaccinate themselves. People in China should vaccinate themselves. People in South Africa should vaccinate themselves. People in Europe should vaccinate themselves. People in Northern Africa should vaccinate themselves. People in South America should vaccinate themselves. You see what I'm fucking saying? People need to fucking step the fuck up and take care of their own fucking problems. It is not, America isn't the police of the world. America isn't the fucking wallet of the world. America isn't fucking here to fund all of your bullshit. If you want fucking vaccines in another fucking country, in your fucking country, then you need to fund that initiative your goddamn self.
That's how winning is
Sick
done.
of being your goddamn wallet. We have our own fucking problems. Our infrastructure's falling apart. Fucking, our people are fucking attacking each other. People are being attacked in the streets for being fucking a certain group of fucking people again. Black, white, yellow, and polka dotted included. We have our own fucking system that we have to unfuck. It's not, if China dies of a disease and China goes extinct, China dies of a disease and China goes extinct, I'm fucking sorry. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry, actually. There are Chinese people in fucking America and other places. Chinese people will live on. The Chinese government will not. I'm not fucking sad about that at all. If the Chinese can't, but I'm pretty sure the Chinese is going to unfuck themselves. But same with Russians. But the same principle applies. If the Russians disappear because they can't fucking vaccinate and take care of themselves, then the Russians that live in other places in the world that did take care of themselves, they'll continue on, and there'll still be fucking Russians here. It's time for us to fucking stop being so emotionally driven and start working like the fucking facts. Facts. If a country's not good for fucking taking care of the vaccine on its own, then we fucking block fucking trade and you can't travel from those places and shit like that.
That's how winning is done.
We gotta stop. We don't have the fucking money to take care of these fucking people with trillions of dollars in debt. I'm not your fucking debt slave. I am not your wage debt slave. And if you start fucking keep treating me like this, I'm gonna end up like the fucking people at the Capitol riot.